Let's talk about something that's been bothering everyone who watched Caitlin Clark's rookie season. Where was the backup? We all saw it. She was getting shoved, slammed, cheap-shotted sometimes in broad daylight while the refs swallowed their whistles, and her teammates, they just stood there. No one stepped up. No one sent a message. Opponents knew they could take liberties, and guess what? They did. That's not how you protect a superstar. That's not how winning teams operate. But here's the good news, the Fever just flipped the script. This offseason, Indiana didn't just get better, they got meaner. They made roster moves that bring in size, toughness, and championship DNA. They brought in players who won't just let Caitlin take the hits, they'll hit back. And trust me, this feud is about to get wild. The rest of the league isn't ready for what's coming. Stick around because we're breaking it all down, and you do not want to miss what happens next. But before we jump in, can I ask you for a quick favor? Just take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It's fast, it's free, and it helps us bring you even more awesome content. Plus, you'll always be the first to know when we drop something new. All right, thanks so much now. Let's get into it. First, let's address the problem. A rookie year with no protection. Caitlin Clark's rookie season was a baptism by fire. From the moment she stepped onto the court, Clark faced a level of physical play that went beyond tough defense and bordered on outright intimidation. She had a target on her back and quickly learned that surviving in the pros was going to be a whole different ballgame. The abuse she got, it felt personal. Many players, both current and retired, were jealous of the attention she got. Opponents came at her hard and often, determined to make her pay for every point, every assist, and every bit of media hype she received. At one point in the season, a staggering 77% of all flagrant fouls in the league were committed against her. That's beyond normal physical play, that's a coordinated assault. The lack of a deterrent on the Indiana Fever roster became glaringly obvious as the season progressed. While other teams had veterans who would step in to protect their stars, Clark seemed like she was left to fend for herself. Her teammates would come and pick her up off the ground, but where was the confrontation? Why were opponents so fearless? Despite this, Clark delivered one of the greatest rookie seasons in WNBA history, 19.2 points per game, 23 points per game after the Olympic break. Single-season assist record, rookie points record, first-team All-Star, first rookie to achieve this since Candace Parker in 2008, Rookie of the Year and fourth in MVP voting. Even with all the adversity, she thrived. But here's the thing, how much longer could she take that kind of punishment before it started affecting her game? That's a dangerous gamble, and the Fever knew they had to act fast. Now here's the solution, a ruthless roster overhaul. The Fever understood the assignment. They didn't just need more skill, they needed toughness. They needed players who wouldn't just watch Clark get hit, but would stand up and make sure it didn't happen again. And they delivered in a big way. This wasn't just about getting better, it was about sending a message. A message that they were done being the league's punching bag. No more standing around while their superstar got bullied. No more watching from the sidelines while opponents took cheap shots. This was about respect, and the Fever made it clear they were going to earn it by force if necessary. First up, a coaching upgrade. Enter Stephanie White, the first major change, firing Christy Sides and hiring Stephanie White. Let's be real, Clark and Sides were never a good fit. You could see it on Clark's face during games, frustration, disappointment, a lack of trust in the game plan. It wasn't that Sides was a bad coach, but she wasn't the right coach for a generational talent like Caitlin Clark. After Sides was let go, Clark subtly hinted that she wasn't getting the support or in-game adjustments she needed. White, on the other hand, is a proven leader. The 2023 WNBA Coach of the Year, she knows how to get the most out of her stars and implement a winning system. She has experience leading successful teams and understands what it takes to win at the highest level. This wasn't just a coaching change, it was a statement. The Fever weren't just aiming for the playoffs, they were building a contender. White's presence alone changes the culture. She's respected league-wide and players want to play for her. That's a game changer when it comes to free agency and team chemistry. With White at the helm, Indiana is no longer just a young team trying to figure things out. They're a serious competitor. And that, my friends, is a scary thought for the rest of the WNBA. Let's be real, the Indiana Fever didn't just need skill last season. They needed grit. They needed fighters. They needed players who wouldn't crumble when the pressure was on. And guess what? The front office went out and got exactly that. This offseason, the Fever didn't just add talent. They added battle-tested veterans who know how to win and aren't afraid to get their hands dirty. These are players who bring toughness, leadership, and that never-back-down mentality, something this team was missing last year. Let's meet the new enforcers ready to change the culture in Indiana. Natasha Howard, two-time WNBA champion, Defensive Player of the Year. Howard isn't just a defender, she's a lockdown specialist. She brings elite defense, rebounding, and a no-nonsense attitude that sets the tone. She's been there, done that, and won championships. If you need someone to step up in crunch time, she's got you. And if you need someone to bring toughness, oh, she's bringing it. DeWanna Bonner, two times WNBA champion. Versatile, skilled, tough as nails. Bonner is a matchup nightmare with her combination of size and scoring ability. But what really makes her valuable? Her leadership. She's been through the wars, and she knows what it takes to win. When the younger players need guidance, she'll be the steady hand to keep them locked in. Sophie Cunningham, one of the WNBA's toughest competitors. Cunningham isn't just tough, she's fearless. She's the kind of player who gets under opponents' skin, talks her talk, and backs it up with relentless energy. She won't back down from anyone. And if there's ever a moment where the Fever need a spark, you can bet Sophie's bringing the fire. Alyssa Thomas, elite two-way player, defensive force, physical, intense, relentless. Alyssa Thomas is all of the above. She plays both ends of the floor with the same level of tenacity, and her defensive presence alone will make life miserable for opponents. Every team needs a player who sets the standard for toughness. Thomas is that player. Jordan Canada, elite defensive guard, relentless competitor. If there's one thing Canada does better than most, it's making life a nightmare for opposing guards. She's a defensive menace, constantly pressuring the ball and disrupting offenses. Plus, she can handle playmaking duties when Caitlin Clark needs a breather. She's a key piece in taking some of the load off the young superstar. Last season, the Fever had talent, but they lacked that extra edge, the toughness, the grit, the veteran presence that keeps a team locked in when the game gets tough. That's no longer a problem. This team is built to battle. They won't get pushed around. And with these veterans leading the charge, Indiana is ready to take the next step. Here's what this means for the team. Last season, the Fever played like a young, inexperienced team that didn't quite know how to protect their star. They were scrappy, but they lacked a true identity. That changes now. Think about it. When Caitlin was drafted, she was the one adjusting to the Fever system, or lack thereof. She had to find her rhythm, learn on the fly, and absorb physical punishment game after game. But this time, it's different. Whoa, you've made it this far. That must mean you're really enjoying the video, right? So why not take a quick second to hit that follow button? It's totally free, super simple, and helps us keep bringing you more awesome content, especially if you love the WNBA. Whether it's game highlights, player spotlights, or behind-the-scenes moments, we've got you covered. Plus, by following, you'll never miss a beat when it comes to your favorite teams and players. Go on, tap that follow now. All right, let's jump back in. Everything the Fever did this offseason, every move they made, was to ensure that Caitlin Clark has the best possible environment to thrive. She's no longer the new kid on the block, trying to fit in. She's the cornerstone, the leader, the player this franchise is now built around. The new players coming in, they're not just joining a team, they're stepping into Caitlin's system. They know her value, they respect her game, and they're here because they believe in what she can do. And they're not just here to watch her score, they're here to protect her, support her, and elevate her game. That changes everything. This psychological shift is massive. Last season, the Fever were reacting to situations. This season, they'll be dictating the pace. They'll be setting the tone, taking control, and making opponents think twice before stepping onto the court. And that's exactly what a championship team does. So what's the impact? Everything changes with added protection, less physical wear and tear, and better play calling. Clark's numbers could skyrocket. But beyond that, the Fever's entire team dynamic will shift. This team isn't just getting better, they're transforming into something dangerous, something other teams will fear. Imagine this. Clark stepping onto the court, knowing that she's not alone, knowing that she's surrounded by teammates who won't just play alongside her, but fight for her. That confidence changes everything. It means she can focus on what she does best, scoring, facilitating, and dominating. Let's break down exactly what this means for the Fever. Clark can play more freely, knowing she has teammates who have her back. No more bracing for impact every time she drives to the hoop. Opponents will think twice before taking cheap shots, knowing that retaliation is coming. You hit Clark? Be ready for Howard, Cunningham, or Bonner to make you regret it. The Fever now have real championship aspirations. No longer just a scrappy underdog, Indiana is putting together a team that expects to win every night. They're deeper, stronger, and ready for war. A team that was once a one-woman show now has multiple weapons ready to contribute at all times. A more versatile lineup gives them strategic flexibility against any opponent. They can go big, they can go fast, they can adjust on the fly, something they struggled with last season. This is more than just a couple of roster tweaks. These are game-changing moves that make Indiana a serious problem for the rest of the league. And if the other teams aren't paying attention yet, they will be soon. The Fever's offseason moves weren't just about improving, they were about sending a message. They're done being pushed around. They're done letting teams take shots at Caitlin without repercussions. This is a team that's coming into the season with something to prove, and they're not afraid to ruffle feathers along the way. This isn't just about Caitlin Clark, it's about building a winning culture in Indiana. The Fever are tired of being overlooked, tired of being underestimated, and they finally got the right pieces to change the narrative. They're here to win, and they're bringing a toughness, a swagger, and an energy that has been missing from this franchise for far too long. And let's be honest, this is fantastic for the WNBA. Whether you love her or hate her, a dominant Caitlin Clark pushing for a championship is exactly what the league needs. More eyes on the game, more excitement, more rivalries. This is what makes basketball great. So, get ready. This season is going to be wild, emotions are going to run high, and the haters, oh, they're going to be losing their minds. Every game will feel like must-watch TV, and every win will silence the doubters just a little more. That's a wrap. Caitlin Clark and the Fever just leveled up in a big way, and the rest of the WNBA better take notice. This team is coming with fire, grit, and zero patience for nonsense, and I am here for it. Now, I gotta hear from you. Is this the squad that finally takes Indiana to the top, or is there still work to do? Drop your takes in the comments, and let's get this debate going. Oh, and before you bounce, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single update. We've got crazy content coming your way all season long. All right, that's it from me. Stay sharp, stay hyped, and I'll see you in the next one.